followed by the Honorable Amolo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this second supplementary budget of the year 2025-2026. Honorable Speaker, let me begin by reiterating what I said when we were considering the report of the committee, that a second supplementary budget ordinarily is to realign expenditure that you cannot be able to consume maybe in one state department to another state department that will be able to consume that money within that fiscal year, or, as the case is in some of the items that are here, to provide for very urgent and emergency funding that had not been provided for. And I just want to point out a few, Honorable Speaker, so that even, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from these people making noise behind me, I can hardly hear myself. Yes, I am of the view, anybody from either side of the house. I wish I had those powers to send anyone out. But, honorable members, I was very serious when I said we need to uphold the decorum of the house. Because Honorable Karoli Omondi will stand in his place, make his point. If there is something that he says I don't agree with, I will correct the situation, like I will be correcting what he's saying about Talanta Stadium. Honorable Speaker, I was saying some of that expenditure, and I'm happy you have guided on NIS, because NIS, our State Department for Internal Security, are getting an additional 1.5 billion and 3.5 billion to NIS for security operations. And Honorable Speaker, those of us who come from areas that have suffered insecurity, and those members from Marsabit will tell you the problems that they have had in the recent past. Yes. You cannot wait for the next financial year to be able to appropriate for security operations and security matters. Because if anything were to happen and the security agencies say they could not do it because they didn't have resources, Honorable Speaker, the discussion will be different from what we are saying here. Honorable Speaker, what are we providing for? And our own members, ordinarily I will never have gone into these details. But because there are those of us who want to make politics out of this, it is good to point it out. And I will start with what affects you as members of Parliament. In this supplementary budget, if Honorable Yegon can listen, and the Honorable Benjamin Langat, if only they can listen,
proceed.
Honorable Benjamin Langat and Yegon, you will know that in this budget, your own medical as members of Parliament, you have an additional 110 million. Your own medical. I do not need to name names and what some of us, our colleagues, have had to go through in the recent past, and the support they have gotten from this institution. It may happen to any one of you before the end of this financial year or the next financial year. In this, Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Rahim Dawood, standing where he's standing, he will interject the Honorable Karoli Omondi because he wants to be seen on TV on KBC. For him to be seen on KBC, Parliament has to pay KBC. We have provided an additional 200 billion shillings for you to continue getting the live broadcast so that you may be seen on TV, as many of you want to be seen on TV. Honorable members, many of you frequent the office of the clerk, the office of the speaker, the office of the leader of minority, leader of majority. Help me to access this or that trip. Those trips, you use Kenya Airways. In this budget, you have an additional 150 million shillings, 180 million shillings for pending bills to Kenya Airways, owed by Parliament. In this budget, you have 100 million shillings for those of us, Honorable Speaker, who have offices at KICC, and you access your office without being fitted by anybody, even when Parliament has not paid your rent. We have provided for 100 million shillings to pay for your rent. Honorable Speaker, the people we represent, The people we represent, our children, are going to sit for their grade 9 exams. Those will be sitting for KCSE. The second last class are sitting for their last exams this year. The second last class. We have provided money to NEC 1.5 billion shillings to do what? We have not paid our invigilators. We have not paid our examiners. We have not paid the police officers who escort those exams to ensure, and security people who ensure that those exams do not leak, to have a credible examination process. And yet, Honorable Speaker, we expect that this year we'll sit for exams, credible exams, if we have not paid our examiners and invigilators and security teams that we have not paid in the last year. Honorable Speaker, we all pontificate whenever we speak, all of us, whether here, whether in funerals, whether in political rallies, on the need to address the question of joblessness and lack of employment for millions of our youth who are ravaging out there in poverty. The greatest responsibility we have as leaders is to make sure that, since we pride ourselves in the National Assembly as a budget-making house, the people with the power of the purse, we use that power to ensure that we are providing resources that will create at least, even if it is one job of a Kenyan who had no job, it is good enough. Even one job. The Nyota program, Honorable Speaker, is supporting not just the growth of entrepreneurship in our country, but creating jobs in a manner many of us who are well endowed may not understand. That 20,000 shillings, 22, 25, 30,000 shillings can change the life and livelihood of an entire family, leave alone an individual. We have provided 5.7 billion shillings for the Nyota program in this. That is the money you see that is split between the State Department for MSMEs and the Youth Department. Honorable Speaker, sports stadia. I don't even want to dwell on the politics that the Honorable Karoli Omondi wanted to bring, including saying the Nairobi University had their own figures, as if the Nairobi University is a procurement authority. Honorable Speaker, Talanta Stadium, for those of you who fly, if you listen to your captains, they have been referring to the monastery in their geographical coordinates as you come to land in Nairobi. Today, I hear them referring, especially as you approach Wilson, because one of the runways is closed, the one that faces where the monastery is, they are now referring to the new landmark in the city and in the country and in East Africa and Africa as a continent, Talanta Raila Odinga International Stadium. This Raila Odinga Stadium that the Honorable Karoli Omondi does not want to hear anything to do with, because it is named after Raila Odinga, a great man, a great statesman. This Talanta Stadium, under appropriations in aid, appropriations in aid, Honorable Speaker, I know some may not conceptualize what appropriations in aid is. Under appropriations in aid from the sports fund, we are allowing them a further 4.1 billion for sports stadia. Honorable Speaker, this supplementary budget, as I said yesterday, also realigns areas where people may not be able, or a State Department may not be able to absorb everything. And if you look at it, there is a reduction of about 700 million to align the budget with actual institutional requirements. 1.8 billion is coming from the contingency fund. Because when we budget, even the budget that we just did for the next financial year, the Honorable Sam Matandi will tell you, we provided for money in the contingency fund. What does this money do? If there is any budgeting that you did not provide for in the budget, you utilize that contingency fund to fund. Now we are taking 1.8 billion because we are coming to the close of the year. That money has not been spent, and you take it to more important things where you can spend this money. For instance, you want to watch FIFA World Cup Broadcasting rights for KBC has 150 million shillings from this. Honorable Speaker, the people of Kwale and the entire coast region and parts of the lower eastern will give you horror stories. I do not want to say horror, like someone said here, that Kenyans watching horror. You know, Honorable Naomi Wako is saying it depends on where you come from. And the person who said Kenyans are watching in horror comes from Ranga, and I come from Kiambu, and we all speak the same language. Honorable Speaker, Mwache Dam development has 2.3 billion shillings. I was speaking about the horror stories that the people of the coast and parts of lower eastern can tell you. How mothers woke up as early as 4 a.m. in search of water. How communities spend 3/4 of their day looking for water. When this Mwache Dam is completed, finally completed, you will see the transformation that this will deliver to the people, not just of the coast, but our nation, because the coast region is also a very important tourist destination. Honorable Speaker, I decided to mention those things in detail, so that even as we politic, because we have a right also to politic, but let us also use this house to inform Kenyans the truth of what we are doing. And that is why I was at pain when I see a member shouting at another, just because you don't agree with what they are saying, and you don't dwell on the actual business of what the people of Kenya pay you to do. Because this is what we are paid to do. Honorable Speaker, I've heard some tell others, oh, you have not provided for this and that road. This is a second supplementary budget with, today is the 18th or 17th, I don't know. Today is the 18th. The end of the financial year is in another 12 days. So you must be certain, if you are putting money in development, it is money that you get exchequer releases. And if you are aware, probably they have started strangling the system now to slow down on exchequer releases from the National Treasury. Therefore, those of you who want to belittle, because I had a member belittling the member for Nandi Hills, I am aware and I know the people of Nandi Hills have roads, and I'm sure the member for Nandi Hills can name those roads. They have roads provided for in the budget because this member for Nandi Hills is a very diligent member of parliament who takes time to follow on development projects in his constituency. And I would dare the member for Kajiado North, who was fighting the member for Nandi Hills, tell the people of Kajiado North a single road that you have followed up to provide for the people of Kajiado North.
Honorable Majority Leader, you understand the rules very well. You cannot discuss a fellow member conduct both inside and outside the house without a substantive motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand guided, and as always, I cannot argue with the chair, because you know the only person with powers to throw me out of the house is you. And I abide by what you are saying, Honorable Speaker, because I want us to allow each other to debate. So that, Honorable Speaker, when the member for Kajiado North spites the member for Nandi Hills, the member for Nandi Hills gets an opportunity to defend it. But because he's a member, he's my member, and I know line by line what is in the budget. I know Nandi Hills has adequate roads because of the diligence and follow-up by the member for Nandi Hills. But I know the people of Kajiado North are still crying, and crying very hard. The people of Kajiado North are my immediate neighbors. I have roads that I am pushing on behalf of the people of Kajiado North. And some I have made sure those roads are in the budget because I follow on their behalf.
A member is on a point of order, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, but I wish to ask you, is a majority leader in order to keep referring to members of parliament, even to keep referring to people outside this parliament? Every time you have a debate, he has to delay debates by naming individuals who are not on this parliament, and other members of parliament, trying to degrade people with his remarks.
Honorable member.
Trying to demean people.
Order, honorable member. I've heard you. Honorable member, I am very keenly listening to him. The moment he crosses the boundary and discusses the conduct of the MP for Narok North, even to say that he's not doing good enough for his people to get roads, I'll order him out of order. Order. We are in a session. Order. Muriu. Order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Since my time is about to get over, I have no business replying to the member for Starehe. I only said I mentioned Kajiado North because they are my immediate neighbors, and they are roads that I am working very hard for them, for the people of Kajiado North, to get access to roads, because the people of Kajiado North deserve development like any other part of Kenya. And I have worked very hard, and I will make sure the roads that were connecting the Gong bypass, that I made sure was in this budget, because almost...
give him an additional 3 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, I was saying, because...
Conclude.
As I conclude, Honorable Speaker, I was saying, the Gong bypass road, for instance, and the roads, the Matasia loops, because almost 40% of the people who live in Kajiado North migrated from my village in Kekambura. They call me every day. And I, as a national leader, I have to support them. And I have supported them, and I've made sure in the next budget, the next financial year's budget, the Gong bypass road will be done, and it is there. Just like the member, I hope the member for Nandi Hills will get an opportunity to tell the people of Nandi Hills the kind of work he has put in, because I've been to Nandi Hills. I know the roads he has seen in the office to help him with. But,
Honorable Speaker, I think is the majority leader in order to make such reckless statements that I ensured the money was in the budget, that I will make sure that thing is in the budget next year. I mean, we have a budget framework. We have a process of making budgets in this country. Are you revealing to the country that those processes don't matter? It is what your whims are when you want to attend to your relatives that matters. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Speaker, that was unnecessary interjection that I have no time for. Because we all know, and we live in this country, we know how we do the budgets. You know, nothing will land on your table, nothing will land on the table if you are not a diligent member of parliament to be able to follow it up. You must make sure that you interact with the budget committee. You must make sure you interact with the state departments. That is why I am saying, Honorable Speaker, for us to be debating development expenditure 2 weeks to the end of the financial year, we only want to throw points at the member for Nandi Hills, who is a very, I must repeat, is a very diligent member. Very diligent. More diligent by another one who is very fond of pointing fingers at him. Whereas I am very busy working for the people of Kenya. And I will continue to ensure even the people of Suba South get roads. They get access to electricity because they are Kenyans and they deserve. And the Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury, as much as it hurts one of us, he is an expert par excellence, given to us by ODM. And the expert from Suba South, the Honorable John Buddy, as much as it is painful to one of us here, he is doing a great job in ensuring that development is there across the country and there is inclusivity. Finally, Honorable Speaker, on State House budget. On State House budget, because that's the other thing I've had people try to make.
Order. Give him half a minute and conclude.
Half a minute to conclude and say this, Honorable Speaker. State House is not State House Nairobi alone. We are all aware we have done a number of state lodges across the country, including the people for Wajir in the northern Kenya. People who felt excluded from Kenya. That people are saying, even Homa Bay there is a state lodge. Therefore, recurrent expenditure in State House cannot be what it was last year. We just hosted the Africa France Summit, Honorable Speaker. You know that cost money in recurrent expenditure. The President hosting all those people, and we have to provide for those expenses. The same for the office of the Deputy President. So therefore, even as we seek to follow those who are posting on social media, because I've seen one former member of Parliament from Madeira posting on social media, must make
you wish to be informed
clear.
Honorable Kaluma.
Honorable Kaluma is very intelligent to inform me. He should inform me.
The majority leader, that unlike our former presidents, now you go to State House and you don't take Fanta and biscuits. You are welcomed as a Kenyan, and we have a president who has opened State House to everybody, not just some top people. Anybody can go to State House and sit with their leader, and so we have to budget for it.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I was concluding. Let me thank Honorable Kaluma for that information, and to also tell the House and this country that unlike some of our former presidents who spent a lot of time in State House, our president is very mobile, and therefore that mobility, that making every Kenyan feel part and parcel of our country in creating inclusivity and togetherness and the unity of our nation, building that unity, the president travels across the country. This is a president who this morning left France, Paris, landed in Mombasa. He is now presiding over the Ocean Conference with hundreds of thousands of delegates from around the world to grow our blue economy that is transforming not just the coast region, the Nyanza region, Lake Turkana and other blue economy areas. Therefore, we cannot compare President William Ruto, who is a teetotaler, with, you know, State House has also been used. There used to be a bar there. It has since been closed. This man is not going to bars. Before that, there are very many active bars in State House. They are all closed. They are now building a church in State House. And that church is being built by money from the president himself. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Otende Amolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this supplementary appropriation number